The 2026 Met Gala came with the theme costume art, and the dress code was simply fashion is art. On paper, that sounds like the most liberating brief in Met Gala history. You could go anywhere with it. You could reference a painting, embody a sculpture, turn yourself into a living installation. The creative ceiling was essentially non-existent, and yet somehow that freedom became the problem for quite a few celebrities on those famous steps. Let us start with Cardi B, because her look has probably generated more debate than any other outfit from the evening. She arrived in a custom Marc Jacobs gown, a giant sheer dress with a black lace overlay that critics described as resembling the human body in a deeply unsettling way. The look was reportedly inspired by The Doll, a work by the surrealist artist Hans Bellmer. And look, conceptually, that is actually a very on-theme reference. Bellmer's work is provocative, body-focused, and deeply tied to the intersection of fashion and art. But here is where the critics draw the line. There is a difference between a look being conceptually interesting and a look being visually successful on a red carpet. Several reviewers used words like frightening and confusing to describe what they saw. One outlet simply wrote, and I quote the energy here without repeating it verbatim, that viewers genuinely did not know what they were looking at. Cardi B has always been bold. That boldness has earned her iconic Met Gala moments before. But this time, the execution left a lot of people scratching their heads rather than applauding. Now, before we go further, if you are enjoying this breakdown, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. There is a lot more fashion, pop culture, and cultural commentary coming your way, and you do not want to miss any of it. Back to the carpet. Rami Malek also found himself on several worst-dressed lists, and his situation is almost the opposite of Cardi B's. Where her look was too much, critics felt his was not enough. He went full monochromatic in an all-black ensemble, a long, sleek coat with a sparkly brooch, understated, clean, safe, on a theme as open and expressive as costume art, playing at that minimalist raise some eyebrows. But the accessory that really got people talking was a large collar piece around his neck that several critics compared to one of those plastic recovery cones you put on a dog after surgery. Fashion writers had a field day with that one. And the frustrating part is that Rami Malek is someone you expect to take a creative swing. He has the artistic credibility, the eccentricity, and frankly the courage to go bold. This just felt like an opportunity missed. The wider conversation being had right now is really about what it means to dress for a theme at all. The 2026 theme was deliberately open-ended. Anna Wintour herself described the costume art exhibit as examining the connection between clothing and the body, and the interplay between art and fashion. That is about as wide a creative brief as you can get. And yet, critics argue that wide-open themes can sometimes paralyze people. When anything goes, it can be harder to make a decision that feels deliberate and considered. Some celebrities apparently took the freedom as permission to just wear something they liked, without necessarily thinking about the conceptual thread that would tie it back to the theme. Kylie Jenner, for example, sparked debate for a nude corset and voluminous skirt that, depending on who you ask, was either a reference to classical sculpture or just an outlandish outfit that did not quite land. Some outlets praised it as a nod to the Venus de Milo. Others said it looked unfinished. That split reaction is actually the most interesting thing about nights like this. Fashion at the Met Gala is not supposed to be universally agreed upon. It is supposed to start arguments, provoke feelings, and generate exactly the kind of conversation we are having right now. What makes the worst-dressed debate from this particular gala so fascinating is the range of failures on display. You have the overcomplicated, the underdeveloped, the off-theme, and the safe. Each represents a different kind of risk calculation that went wrong. Cardi B swung for the conceptual fences and divided opinion. Rami Malek played it too cool and disappeared into the crowd. And a number of other attendees simply showed up in perfectly nice outfits that would have worked at any other event but felt completely disconnected from a theme that was practically begging for imagination. The Met Gala will always be a spectacle, and the worst-dressed list is as much a part of that spectacle as the best. It is a reminder that fashion at this level is genuinely difficult, and that even with all the resources in the world, getting it right is never guaranteed.